Greetings, minions and associates. I am I'm just gonna casually play a game. If anyone wants to come on and speak with me about why autism's excuse me, why ABA is so terrible. Oh, that's kind of cool, Azteca. What's this one? Wait. Anyway, going on with the skirmish here. Anyway, if anyone would like to talk about Autism Speaks, um, actually, or any other organization, any other thing, I'm more than happy to. I'm just using this as a placeholder right now. Actually, very quickly, I want to see if. Okay. This is supposed to be from last week. Okay, let's go this week. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try this. She's probably Indian, and I'm probably not gonna be able to
Hello,
understand her.
welcome to the Butterfly Learnings YouTube channel. I am your host Snehal Bhatt.
Nope, not gonna do it.
Hello, welcome back here to ABA with Dr. D. This is Dr. D.
Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting. Just the thumb said, "What is the function?" Okay, what is the function of this behavior? This is bad because it may not have a function in the respect of
And here we are in our
that
YouTube series
respect.
of React videos. Today we have a really funny one, actually. Well, kind of funny. It's one of those behaviors where we see a child really trying hard to get a reaction or gain some type of attention from parents, which tends to happen a lot, right?
Okay, so this is a behavior because it is very obvious, evidently.
We see,
what's going
and that's
on
not
here.
just for a child with autism, but in general, just with people, right? We love attention, so we will do whatever it takes to get that attention. So in this particular situation, this child tries really hard. So I really want you all to, like, if you doing this for training purposes, why don't we get out a piece of paper, pencil or pen?
I'm not gonna go there with that because that's obviously where the kid is being very, very obvious. I'm not even gonna bother looking at it. Okay. Apply behavioral analysis Ethics lecture? Oh my god. Oh hell no. Out of Japan. Here's why I write my books. I cannot stand this woman.
And I
You
often
write your
get
books
asked
to make
how
money.
Lucas is doing now. For Lucas, he's doing great. His problem behaviors are at or near zero. He has language. He has self-care skills. He has leisure activities, but he still requires 24/7 care and probably will for the rest of his life. I, since his diagnosis, became a board certified behavior analyst. I wrote 2 books, including this book, Turn Autism Around, an action guide for parents of young children with early signs of autism. I truly feel that if I had the information in my newest book, back when Lucas was starting to show signs after the age of 1 and at the time of his diagnosis, the day before he was 3, I feel like if I had this information, his life would be much different. And I often get asked how Lucas is doing now.
Okay, so teaching flexibility to help overcome rigidity. Oh boy, this
Many
might
of
be
our
scary.
learners struggle with rigid behavior and with showing flexibility. Part of the diagnostic criteria for autism is struggling with rigidity, and it can impact their lives in a negative way. So, what are the best ways to incorporate teaching flexibility into our programs? Hi, I'm Shira.
And I'm Shayna. We're behavior analysts who create weekly content about how to teach children with autism so that they make real progress. And we create shareable resources to make your job just a little easier. Today's topic is all about teaching flexibility. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new video releases.
So we were talking about ways that we all somehow show rigidity in our lives. And sometimes it affects how we do things and doing things that we really want. And sometimes it doesn't.
You know, I think it's time for me to just take an ABA course and just do it live, do it right online. What do you think about that, Jackie? I think I'm thinking about just taking one and doing it. You can do it for 40 hours. I could do it online, live, easy for 40 hours. I could do that very easily. And I think I might just do the whole course of ABA to become a therapist.
When you come into a meeting that you come into all the time and everyone goes to the same seats. And if someone's in your seat, you all of a sudden are starting to be upset. Like, how dare you take my seat?
Imagine you go to a conference and it's a day 2-day conference or a 3-day conference, and you go, and the first day you have established yourself in a small location, and you go back the next day and someone's sitting in your spot. It's not really your spot. It's okay. You can move somewhere else. But just that, few minutes of like, what do I do? Where do I sit now? It happens all the time, right?
We don't always tolerate changes in routine well. How many of us just have a side of the bed that we sleep on? Or certain things that we do every day. And, we get some level of comfort through that little bit of rigidity. So what is the problem with rigidity? What is rigidity? What is flexibility? We're going to talk more about that.
So what is rigidity? It's really an inflexibility. It's that inability to tolerate change or unexpected events. And it's, varying levels of difficulty with that, right? So like Shira mentioned before, some rigidity is okay. We all experience rigidity, but it's that inability to move on.
Okay, so now they're starting to put judgments on autism. They're starting to judge autistic people here. Well, when you just can't handle it, then it's a problem.
Really what we're talking about when we're talking about being rigid or being inflexible.
And what is flexibility? Flexibility is a willingness to take a different route to achieve.
It's not about willingness or unwillingness, though. That's the problem.
The same goal.
This is neurological, ladies. It's not about an attitude problem.
So in a lot of things that we talk about, working towards values and goals with anything even ACT related, a good sign of somebody who can show resilience is what we call psychological.
Or called freaking neurotypical. They're called neurotypical, ladies. That's what they're
flexibility.
called.
They're able to take different ways to achieve the same goal. So not everything has to be only one way. And it's a sign of good psychological well-being if you can show flexibility, because it really is required in so.
If you're looking from a neurotypical perspective, and these things that you feel, I want to see what your examples of those routines that can't be broken and where it's a problem. I want to see specific examples, because I bet you that they're not that big of a deal. We'll see. Routine is how I don't run out of cognitive abilities. It's my preferred side of the bed. Yeah.
So many settings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, issues around.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with having a preferred side of the bed. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing things a certain way so that our minds can work better. And that's something that they don't understand here. They haven't said anything that people may do things a certain way and be very rigid so that our minds work better, so that we don't have to sit there and problem solve the same problem over and over every single day. So we have things set in a certain way so that we skip certain problems that we might have normally.
Around rigidity can really affect your day-to-day life, right? It can affect a school day, it can affect relationships or social ties, life at home, life at work, transitions, community integration,
really
and vocational employment
autism.
success for our older clients.
But it's also really easy to fall into a mindset of like, all rigidity needs to be targeted. And that's really not the case. So is this affecting the learner? Is this keeping our student or our child further from accomplishing their goals? And there really isn't a clear answer. It's somehow a balance of figuring out like, what is a level of discomfort that is okay for me and for my child or my learner that will help them accomplish their goals, versus making them stressed for no reason. Like, just because I feel like they need to practice flexibility is not.
Wait, whose goals? Their goals or your goals? Because you haven't said anything about any autistic person's goals. You said what you think is a problem.
A good enough reason. So with that, assent is really important. Talking to the individual and the learner and getting their permission and saying, you know, I noticed that it's really important to you to get a job in the community, but it's also hard for you to tolerate crowds or take direction from other people. So is this something that we can work on or bring some flexibility into, because it's important to you to have a job, and these might be requirements of a job, with a lot of support and, you know, a lot of accommodations and a lot of ways that we can help them be successful. It could still be up to the learner in how we can help them.
And if a student can't speak, you know, you can still get assent in other ways. So, you know, very important skills like going to the dentist, for instance. I mean, that's non-negotiable. Somebody needs to go to the dentist or to the doctor. But there are different ways to get assent. So, you know, just body language, for instance. So, you know, as you take somebody towards the dentist or showing them pictures of the dentist, they may really tense up. And it's really about saying, you know, it's okay. Here's ways that it's important, and really breaking those steps down and practicing each step. And we can get into that in a minute. But it's there, like, so when you think of assent, it's not just about, okay, I'm going to explain the whole process and you're going to sign on the dotted line and you're going to say, yes, this is okay. It's not necessarily about that. It's really about body language as well, and how we can get, you know, buy-in in different stages of the game.
And the message to our learners and to our students is that not all stress is harmful, right? Like, we don't want anyone to be uncomfortable, but at the same time, a lot of learning comes through discomfort. So it's having those conversations and finding that balance of, is this us working towards learning something and that stress is okay? We've agreed to that level of stress.
Why are we even working in the framework of creating stress?
And it's not the level of stress that's harmful. I always give this example of, we used to have a client that we worked with who I would say tended to be a little bit rigid, but I always thought it worked to her advantage because we could use schedules and checklists, and she would be stuck to that schedule and it was great. But, you know, the mom really thought it was important for her to be able to practice flexibility. So every few weeks when we would come to her home, the furniture would be in a different place. And she would purposefully move it around so that she wouldn't get used to things always being the same. There were some things that were always the same, you know, like her nighttime routine or her morning schedule or things like that, because that was important. But she had this really unique way of thinking of ways to introduce flexibility And she would come home from school and it would be like, oh, today things are different. And it would just be part of her norm. And I thought that was really creative in a way
So she made that her routine, which is rigidity. Really?
to introduce flexibility in a really like, non-harmful, non-stressful way.
No, she made it a rigid routine to change the furniture around, which is a rigid routine. That's not flexibility. You're dumb.
I have a big smile on my face because in my mind I'm thinking of, my kitchen, and if I were to rearrange it, I would probably trip over that chair is not supposed to be there, or oh, that's not supposed to be there, because there's so many things that I do in my house that are just, so innate. I just go through it because I know things are in proper ways. But I say proper, listen to me, but in my way, it's mine. But yeah, definitely getting creative with how you can be, or how you can teach that flexibility, for sure. I also find though that it's flexibility, or that rigidity, can also be this cycle, right? So I think that, flexibility and anxiety can go together. And it's difficult because how do you define anxiety? How do you define flexibility and rigidity in an observable, measurable way? First of all, do that. Anxiety looks different to everybody. Anxiety is real though. And, regardless of what it looks like to, one individual, I find that when people are anxious or experiencing anxiety, the less flexible they become. It's like, I can't control this part of my life, so I'm going to try and control this part of my life. So if you're looking at, that inflexibility, that rigidity piece, you want to look at the function, and the function might not just be, oh, well, it's escape related or it's attention seeking. It's not that easy. A lot of the time it's because, they're anxious, and definitely trying to define that, put that in observable, measurable ways. But, typically, the more rigid someone is, it's because their anxiety is higher. So be careful when you are targeting that. You really do want to, if you're going to be trying to target rigidity, you should probably also be looking at that anxiety piece at the same time.
And not all rigidity needs to be targeted. We'll say that again, but it is important for a lot of health and safety things. Like no one likes going to the dentist. No one likes getting their blood taken. Nobody enjoys that.
And do not dare minimize that. Now they're like, well, nobody enjoys. They have no idea what it's like and how much it hurts to go to the dentist. You have no idea how much the pain is. I've had dry sockets and sat there and tolerated it because I could. And it hurt like hell. So don't minimize my experience by, oh, everybody has. You're not autistic and you don't have my mouth.
But we often push through those things because it's important, or we might have to. But if we're going to help our learners push through that, and that.
But the thing is you I don't know if you've had any children or if you've passed a kidney stone, but what if you want to go do that? What if that's the thing that you got to go do? And that's what you're just going to just say, well, just push through that, just like, we do.
Imagine if the person.
No, the reason you push through it with having a baby is because your body has no choice. You have no choice. You can't choose not to go to that appointment. You got to make it.
Taking your blood or doing your dental work was like, oh, suck it up and like just get over it. It wouldn't feel good. You want to be working with a practitioner who can validate and empathize and be able to be like, I get it. This is really hard.
But you're not.
It might hurt, and that sucks. But
no. You don't understand. It might hurt. It will hurt, and it will be excruciating. It will be torture. So don't act like it might hurt. You have no idea, lady.
Evidently. We're going to do it anyway. So the validation and the empathy.
Yeah, and we do end up doing it anyway. Because of people like you.
It doesn't mean that we're never feeling uncomfortable, but it helps if we're going to push into that discomfort to bring in the validation, because our message to our learners is that all feelings are welcome. So it's you will feel anxious, you will feel nervous, even if all behavior is not. But it doesn't mean that we are not going to try and experience some things. And when we try to expose them to those experiences, we have to remember to do it very, very slowly in a way that they're comfortable. We talk about shaping, very, very small moments of shaping. You can move things along in a way that everybody is comfortable. So if it's teaching somebody to tolerate getting their blood taken or a dental exam, those changes could be so slow and steady so that there's little bits of discomfort. Never do we want to go so quickly to the point that our learner is stressed out.
We talk about systematic.
It's torture, but you're not paying attention to that. You're not even taking into consideration that it might be torture. You're not taking in consideration how painful it might be. You're just saying, oh, well, it might hurt a little bit because that's what your experience has been. And you're not having the empathy and you're not taking into consideration the experience that autistic person is having. Even though this whole video is about you trying to, you're that far out of touch that you're incapable of doing what you've attempted to do, set out to do.
Systematic desensitization, but you can
Really
also talk
sad.
about it as gentle exposure, right? You're really gently exposing them to one step at a time. And we have a bunch of programs on systematic desensitization, gentle exposure in our behavior resource, things like, like Shira said, exposing people to needles, to doctor's appointments, to dentist appointments, to hair cutting, to there's lots of different things in there. The list is long. Tolerating transitions. We'll give out a freebie with tolerating transitions in this one, but lots of different ways to try and increase that flexibility.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about SBT, which teaches a lot of like flexibility and tolerance, is that you start from a place where the student is calm, where is happy, relaxed, and engaged. And if we think about that, always keeping them in that way, they're happy, they're relaxed, and only pushing them very, very little outside their comfort zone, but always being able to bring them back. In teaching any kind of flexibility, we want to make them feel comfortable, and again, in a way that's bringing them closer to their values in a way that will enhance their quality of life.
Absolutely. So you really just want to make those small changes over time. And then, teaching some functional communication as well. So, if we're going too fast, we want our learners to be able to advocate for themselves and say, whoa, slow down, or I don't like this right now. And as Shira said, incorporating SBT, skills-based training, Hanley's approach is what I also call it, into it so that, they can, mand for themselves and I don't like this, or I want it this way, and then they we teach them over time to say, well, we only need to do 2 more of this, or it's just 5 minutes, or just this and then it's done, or oh sorry, like the whole thing and then it's done. So looking for
how to minimize
that as well. So we have some other videos on SVT, and we also have videos on functional communication training, so go check those out.
For more information on teaching flexibility, click the link on or around this video or in the description to claim your free program for tolerating transitions. We also encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and leave a like and comment below if you have further questions.
That was nice.
We are, as I said, expecting the President of the United States to issue an address, to give a live address today from the White House in response to the Supreme Court ruling, something that's...
Many of our learners
how to become a
In the intricate world of business, the difference between success and stagnation often lies in the subtle art of behavior management. Applied behavior analysis, also known as ABA, provides a scientific and practical framework to engineer this vital aspect of organizational life. This is usually through organizational behavior management, also known as OBM, which utilizes ABA principles to illuminate pathways not only to enhance individual employee performance, but also to steer entire companies towards their strategic goals. In the intricate world of business, the difference between success and stagnation.
Okay. Wow. Okay, let's look at this. This is RBT exam practice questions.
All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our RBT practice questions series where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, please let us know so we can.
Is this a whole
Okay, so
channel? Oh my goodness gracious. There's a whole channel dedicated
all right,
to
welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our RBT practice exam series where we're going through another set of questions together. And
okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to redo everything. I'm going to